This is Sunrise Extra, streaming live on Wave Now.
Hey, good morning. Happy Thursday to you. And finally feeling like fall out there. Yesterday was so beautiful.
It was so nice. October 9th right now. Is it going to be more of the same today?
Oh, it's going to be gorgeous today. This morning it is a little bit chilly. I've had several cups of tea to keep myself warm. We're seeing temperatures in the 40s and the low 50s. We're now down to 53 degrees at the airport in Louisville. 49 now for those of you in Fort Knox, 48 in Lebanon, 46 in Paoli, Salem, and LaGrange. Those are our cooler locations. Looking on our Kentucky Mesonet cameras, some spiderwebs there on the camera in Bullitt County, but we're seeing clear and quiet conditions in all parts of our region, matching with what we're seeing on the satellite and radar as well. So throughout the day, over the next 12 hours, we will keep the sunshine in our forecast with highs in the mid to upper 60s. So a pretty pleasant fall-like day overall. The only hitch in the forecast is the fact that we still have to deal with ragweed as an issue. This is something that we'll see all the way through the weekend and into next week, especially with this dry and sunny conditions that will be in our forecast. If you have still that itchy eyes, runny nose kind of situation, this ragweed pollen may be why. Rob?
Okay, Tawana, some great advice and some great advice for you. This is a time to get out and take a ride. Why is that? No major slowdowns or incidents to tell you about this morning. This is a live look. We're looking at 71 at 265. No slowdowns or tie-ups right now to tell you about. We're going to keep an eye on things throughout the morning. But I do want to point out something that might help you out as you plan your weekend ahead. We have a reminder for drivers thinking of coming to downtown this weekend. Road crews are closing ramps to set down a high friction surface treatment, as it's called, that makes it a lot safer to drive in wet weather conditions. Now, the ramps temporarily closing, those are I-64 west to 65 south and 71 southbound I-65 south. That'll start at 8 o'clock on Friday evening, and it'll last through Monday at 5 a.m. Olivia.
Thank you, Rob. Breaking this morning, a 15-year-old is in jail in connection to a shooting in Louisville's Russell neighborhood that happened last month. Police say the teenager shot and killed a man near the Arco gas station on West Market Street near Dr. W.J. Hodge Street. The teen, whose name is not being released, is charged with murder and possession of a handgun by a minor.
Today, former LMPD officer Brett Hankison is expected to start his sentence and report to prison. He was sentenced to 2 years and 9 months for his role in the 2020 raid where Breonna Taylor was killed. Prosecutors say Hankison violated Taylor's civil rights when he shot bullets into her apartment. None of Hankison's bullets hit Taylor. Hankison claims he shot into the department because he thought his fellow officers were being shot at. Hankison's attorneys recently filed a motion to delay the start of his sentence. A judge denied that.
Today, you can expect to see increased security at booth days at Harvest Homecoming in New Albany. The changes come after 18-year-old Bryce Gerlach was killed and 2 others were shot at the festival last year. Police say it happened after 2 groups started fighting and the victims were all innocent bystanders. There is now a new security system and fencing, a heavier police presence, and revised hours for the weekend. The festival closes 1 hour earlier on Friday and Saturday at 9 o'clock. Booth areas stretch from State Street to East 3rd Street, including those in between Pearl Street Street and Bank Street. There will be around 300 booths there, stages for live music, kids events, and so much more.
It could take 2 months to fully reopen at Jeffersontown Road after a massive sinkhole opened up following a collapsed pipe during all of that rain that we had on Tuesday. J-Town's Public Works Director Jimmy Franconia says utility crews have been cutting water lines and putting water gates around the area on Plantside Drive. LG&E's been welding gas lines to make sure no one has service interrupted. Franconia says getting the road reopened is a top priority for them.
The industrial park is a golden goose of J-Town. We have a very large park, one of the largest in the nation, and they're interstate commodity in and out. They have to be operational at all times. During snow events, no matter what it is, we got to make sure this park is flowing smoothly.
Franconia says the city has met with 8 contractors who could be in charge of repairing the road. Keep calm, slow down, don't engage. Those are some of the tips from the Hardin County Sheriff amid what he calls a rise in road rage incidents that his office has been handling.
The latest happened only days ago. Wave News reporter Rob Wells is here with a closer look. Rob.
Olivia, Sheriff Ward says that the majority of the calls for those road rage cases are from drivers traveling along Interstate 65. One of the most recent cases involves a man named Kevin Felix. The sheriff's office says that he fired several shots into a car that had 3 people inside it on East Dixie Avenue. Investigators say it started when Felix pulled out in front of the victims, forcing them to brake. The victims saying that Felix then motioned them to pass on by, and when they did, the sheriff says that Felix fired a shot through their rear windshield with a .38 caliber revolver. Nobody was hurt or killed. Felix, meanwhile, charged with wanton endangerment and possession of a handgun by a convicted felon. Sheriff John Ward says there is no room for this type of violence on the roads.
Don't be an aggressive driver. That's what we try to tell people, allow a little extra time to get where you're going. And it's just basically good common sense. If somebody tries to get aggressive with you, try to avoid eye contact. Don't engage. Don't put yourself in the situation.
The sheriff adding that so far this year, his office has handled 495 road rage cases. That compares to a total of 664 last year. In 2023, the number was 481, 2022, 304. The sheriff adding that if you become involved in a road rage situation yourself, drive to a well-lit public place like a fire department, call 911, stay on the line, and then give your location and a complete vehicle description. And never drive home until you know that you're safe. Shannon?
Thanks, Rob. Louisville Metro Housing Authority says more than 100 people still need to be moved out of Dosker Manor before it can be demolished. Last week, staff moved people out of 10 units. 17% of the units are still occupied. That's about 112 residents. LMHA says Building A is completely empty. The agency decided to move renters out after a number of problems ranging from frequent maintenance issues to reports of crimes and calls to police. The plan is to finish moving people out by the end of the year and then tear the buildings down and rebuild the property.
JCPS Superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood says the district will not ask taxpayers for more money until the district balances its own budget. Right now, JCPS is facing a $188 million deficit. Dr. Yearwood says that number has been years in the making. He also says JCPS relied on federal government funding that came as a result of the pandemic. Yearwood says there was no plan in place for the district once the federal money and prior budget surpluses ran out.
The district has operated too long with systems lacking alignment and accountability. We received ESSA funds during the pandemic, funds that help us hire nurses, purchase buses, and provide things like Chromebooks. But what didn't happen was a plan for when those funds ended.
Yearwood says his plan to balance the budget includes reducing staff at the central office. He does not plan to reduce teacher salaries or take away student experiences. The Oldham County School Board is rejecting a proposed partnership with a third-party religious group.
All 5 school board members agreed to not partner with LifeWise Academy. That group wanted to establish a pilot program at an off-campus site for students at Locust Grove Elementary. Supporters of LifeWise say their programs integrates Bible studies and exploration into a child's average school day. Critics argued taking kids out during school hours is distracting, and religious programs have no place in a public school setting. setting. Oldham County School Board Chair Carly Clem says adding the program would have been a logistical nightmare for teachers and students.
We as a board have spent a massive amount of time and money on teacher raises, staff raises, and to ask them to take on more, in my opinion, it goes against all of what we've been working for the last 3 years.
A representative from LifeWise says they're disappointed by the decision, but understand why the school board rejected the proposal.
Looking ahead to tomorrow, U of L will inaugurate its 20th president, Dr. Jerry Bradley. Provost Dr. Bradley took over for Dr. Kim Schatzel, who resigned in March. He first came to U of L as its dean of the School of Dentistry, moving to provost and focusing on growing enrollment and academic success. Bradley is the school's 20th president. His inauguration starts at 1 p.m. on Friday at L&N Cardinal Stadium.
Still to come, the nonprofit Apron Incorporated is hosting their largest fundraiser this Sunday.
Marissa Berg is in the kitchen learning more about how the cooking organization is helping chefs in our community.
President Donald Trump says Israel and Hamas have agreed to the first phase of a peace plan.
President Trump posted on his Truth Social account that with the support of both Israel and Hamas, all hostages would be released very soon, adding that Israel would withdraw their troops to an agreed-upon line in the first step towards peace. This is video of some of the celebrations breaking out in Israel overnight. The president emphasized that all parties in the agreement would be treated fairly. Before the breakthrough on the reported peace deal, President Trump said he may travel to the Middle East at the end of the week, but did not specifically say he would be going to Egypt, where peace talks are being held. Airports are starting to feel the widespread impacts as the government shutdown enters its second week.
At least 6 air traffic control facilities spent Wednesday working with reduced staff, according to the FAA. There were air traffic controller shortages reported at airport towers in Washington, D.C., Denver, Newark, Orlando, and across New Mexico and California. The FAA says delays are probable for flights heading to those airports. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy said through September of this year, just 5% of flight delays were caused by staffing shortages. But he said for Wednesday alone, more than half of delays were due to not enough controllers on duty. Federal workers are about to miss their first paycheck since that shutdown started, and still no agreement yet. 7:13. If you are traveling anywhere, though, you may have a tough time leaving here because it's feeling pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, hey, if you are stuck here, then It's not too bad.
No, it's not bad at all. Sunny, cool temperatures, feeling like fall. I mean, we have so many events going on in our area. This staycation is just fine, right? We are seeing temperatures falling further into those 40s, so a lot more of us cooling off this morning. 53 degrees, though, at the airport in Louisville, 50 in Litchfield and Eatown, 51 for those of you in Bardstown. Across the metro, ranging from 52 degrees for those of you in St. Matthews in the Hurstbourne neighborhood to 46 in the Sellersburg, 47 right now in PRP. So everybody's on the cool side, and I'm going to step out of the way for this because this is how you know the skies are crisp, clear, and of course that humidity is low, not a cloud even anywhere nearby on our SkyTrack camera. As we're looking off towards the east and that gorgeous sunrise beginning, we still have about half an hour before the sun officially comes up over the horizon. Clear skies, just like what you saw on the SkyTrack camera image, showing up on our satellite and radar for every single one of us. High pressure still doing its thing to keep things quiet, not just in our area, but all across the Ohio Valley. As we continue over the next 12 hours, we will easily return to the 60s for your highs. So pretty comfortable there. Once we get into tonight, falling down into the 30s and low 40s. So we are going to be dealing with that extra chill. And yes, in some of our more sheltered areas, in some of our valleys, we could run into some patchy frost tomorrow morning. That is where we are. Welcome to fall. Once we get into tomorrow afternoon, the sunshine will push us to near 70. We'll keep an eye on that mix of sun and clouds for the weekend with the front moving through. As of right now, at best, we could see some drizzle with that. Other than that, not expecting much. Just going to gradually warm through those low to mid 70s for highs for the weekend, climbing to near 80 by next Tuesday. And we're still keeping an eye on another front arriving for the end of next week. This one could help to cool our temperatures back down into the upper 60s and low 70s, but it could also bring a couple of isolated rain chances. So we're certainly keeping a close eye on it. Shannon.
Thank you. New this morning, Clarksville is a step closer to establishing designated outdoor refreshment areas, or DORA. The idea is it would allow you to carry alcoholic beverages in a designated area outside. Our partners at the News and Tribune report the city council passed an ordinance creating the district in the South Clarksville area Tuesday. The Indiana Alcohol and Tobacco Commission needs to make its final approval for that district before it can become a reality. Jeffersonville and New Albany already have DORA districts. Well, you can have a great night with 9 chefs, 6 courses, 4 cocktail pairings, all at one dinner. Apron Inc. is hosting their largest fundraiser this Sunday.
They help those working in the restaurant industry. Over the past 13 years, they've awarded more than $1 million in grants to hundreds of employees in restaurants, and it's all because of events just like this. And Wave News reporter Marissa Burke giving us a preview for this year's 10 Taste Salute. It already looks so delicious. Marissa?
I know I need to salute the chef one more time for all the great foods that they are going to be creating for everyone on Sunday. Yes, I am here with Robin Miller, who's the executive director over at Apron. And Robin, you guys have been doing this event for what, 5 years now?
Yeah, we started 5 years ago and we called it the 10 Taste Salute because we actually held it on 10/10 was our first date, and we wanted to, the first iteration of it was we had 5 chefs and 5 pairings, and then it's always an iteration of 10. So this year it's 6 courses, which is amazing. Like, where do you, like, yes.
Where are you going to be able to get this type of experience?
Exactly. And where are you going to have room in your stomach? You got to hold up space for that day when you come. So we have 6 courses and 4 cocktail pairings to go along with it. So yummy.
And you never know what you're really going to be able to try, because these chefs have worked so hard, and they're not just doing like a regular dish. It's a family style, right?
Yeah, which I love, actually. It's such a different kind of a gala. You know, you typically go to a gala and everybody has a pass plate, and that's always lovely too. But this is so fun because it really embodies what Apron is all about, what our restaurant community is all about, and that is getting together with community, family, you know, over a meal, like sharing your spoon. Now, you'll have your own plate, you'll have your own portion, of course, obviously. But I mean, it's just so nice to be able to just sit there and enjoy and talk about the food and talk about each other and really connect. connect. I mean, there's, we always talk about that loneliness epidemic that's out there right now in the world, and people just need connection. And people connect over food. People connect in restaurants. People connect to the servers and the people that they're talking to.
Right.
And it's just, we'd like to embody that at the event.
Absolutely, because we have different restaurants. It's like the servers and the hostesses is all an ambiance that just adds to the experience. It makes you want to come back again and again. And so they need support too, and that's where Apron Inc. comes into play. So if you would like to support this organization, again, this event is on Sunday, October 12th, and tickets are $165. But remember, you got 9 chefs back there.
Exactly, and it's all different restaurants, so it's a great place to try all sorts of different restaurants that you've never been to, or maybe you've been there and you want to go again and get them all in one setting. And so we're excited about that.
Absolutely. Back to you guys.
Sounds great. Thank you so much. So fans all over the world were so concerned about Dolly Parton's health because her younger sister asked people to pray for her.
We'll hear from Dolly herself and how she addressed those health rumors right after the break.
Some JCPS students spent yesterday helping break ground on a new Okolona Elementary School.
It comes as the district is trying to shrink its multi-million-dollar deficit. It'll be on Preston Highway near Okolona Park, where the current school is. The original Okolona Elementary School was built back in 1972. JCPS Superintendent Dr. Brian Yearwood says this new facility is designed to reflect the way students learn today. The construction cost is going to be around $30 million. Dr. Yearwood says the new school will also save JCPS some money.
We've ensured that the new Okolona Elementary is built to last and represents a smart use of our taxpayers' dollars. We're keeping things efficient by utilizing things like geothermal energy and cooling, and it's a highly energy efficient approach.
Other cost-effective strategies he mentioned include LED lights that turn off when no one's around and the building being resistant to expensive repairs. Dr. Yearwood says the school is also being built with security in mind. Construction is set to be complete by summer of 2027. The Garvin Gate Blues Festival kicks off this weekend in Old Louisville. You can find it this Friday and Saturday on the corner of Garvin Place and Oak Street. The Free Music Festival features musical performances from artists both local and from across the U.S. Music on the main stage begins at 6 o'clock tomorrow night with plenty of food and drinks. There's also a special Garvin Gate kickoff party tonight at Stevie Ray's Blues Bar on East Market Street. It's free to attend and it starts at 7:30.
I know lately everybody thinks that I am sicker than I am. Do I look sick to you? I'm working hard here.
That, of course, is the great Dolly Parton. She's went on video to update everyone about her health because loyal fans were so concerned about her when her younger sister, Frida Parton, made an online appeal for everyone to pray for Dolly's health on Tuesday night. She says she is taking time to care for her fans and thanked fans for their support.
There's just a lot of rumors flying around, but I figured if you heard it from me, you'd know that I was okay. So anyhow, that's what I wanted to say, and I'm not ready to die yet. I don't think God is through with me, and I ain't done working. So I love you for caring, and keep praying for me.
Well, we will, Dolly. We love you. Parton announced last month she was postponing her December concerts in Las Vegas because of health challenges. The 79-year-old was set to perform 6 shows at the Coliseum at Caesars Palace in her first Vegas residency in over 30 years. Those shows are now scheduled for September of 2026. And her husband of many, many years just passed away in March.
Heartbreaking, but glad to see she's doing well and to hear from her mouth, too.
Yes, we'll be right back.
This Wave News Update is sponsored by Oxmoor Auto Group.
Good morning. I'm Shannon Kogan. Today, former LMPD officer Brett Hankison is expected to report to prison. He was sentenced to 2 years and 9 months for his role in the 2020 raid where Breonna Taylor was killed. Prosecutors say Hankison violated Taylor's civil rights when he shot bullets into her apartment. None of Hankison's bullets hit Taylor. Hankison claims he fired into the apartment because he thought his fellow officers were being shot at. Here's meteorologist Tawana Andrew, and you may need a light jacket this morning.
Yeah, because we are waking up. The temperature is certainly a lot cooler than what we've seen all week. What we're seeing right now on our SkyTrack camera, absolutely clear skies across the region. That sunlight now over the horizon. Clear skies also showing up on the satellite and radar to start off the day. Your temperatures right now in the 40s and the low 50s. So we are certainly on that chilly side. Once we get into the afternoon, we'll warm up, but not a whole lot. Only ending warming up in the 60s for highs later on today. But remember, for tonight, we are going to drop down into those 30s and low 40s. Some of our valleys could drop down into the mid 30s, and that could lead to some areas of patchy frost. So keep that in mind as you roll into your Friday morning. Your 10-day shows that, hey, we keep the quiet weather through the weekend and into next week, and we don't see any decent rain chances trying to show up over the next 10 days, but we do see a couple of isolated showers coming our way by next Friday and Saturday. Rob.
Tawana looks beautiful out there, and so far this morning at 7:28, looking pretty good on the roadways. We are keeping our eyes on one area of concern. Reports of a few minutes ago of a one-car crash near the area. This is I-264 West at Brownsboro Road. Again, that's supposed to be closed off at least the right shoulder in that area, just be on the camera shot for at least the next hour. So certainly give yourself a lot of extra time and patience as you head through there. Otherwise, have a great morning.
Good morning and happy Thursday to you. I had to think about that for a second there. Yeah, it is Thursday morning, as I like to call it, Friday Eve, but people get too excited when I say the word Friday, so you can either be optimistic about it or not. Your choice there. But we have a lot to get to this morning. We're going to talk about some sports news. Of course, got to talk about that professional football league that's coming to Louisville, plus some of the concerns about bringing those games to Lynn Family Stadium. We'll talk about that soon. And then we also have Dawn G's conversation with LMPD's command staff. So plenty to get to this morning, but we'll start with the Louisville Downtown Partnership announcing a new plan for some renovation. It includes upgrades to parts of South 4th Street that city leaders say will enhance the downtown experience. But some restaurants in the area say they're worried construction could hurt their businesses. Wave News reporter Meredith Lee has details on the project and those business owners' concerns.
So I think it's really going to affect, all the businesses on 4th Street.
Business owners say they have concerns about Louisville Downtown Partnership's new project, which it announced the same day it's slated to begin. The group says enhancing 4th Street would give one of the city's central avenues a boosted curb appeal, adding features like new landscaping, tree fencing, and a pet waste station. Construction is expected to play out in 3 phases through early November. The perimeter extends to the 2 blocks between Broadway and Muhammad Ali Boulevard and on Guthrie between 3rd and 4th Street. But some stores and shops in those target areas say they hadn't heard anything about this project until we at Wave News called them for an interview.
We have no clue about any of this, so we're just hoping that it doesn't affect our business.
No one ever reached out since you came here today to tell me that the construction is going to start. I don't even know about it.
Yunus El Messiah says business at his restaurant also suffered during the last round of renovations to 4th Street a few years ago.
And it took about maybe 4 to 5 months on the construction, and they blocked the whole street, and the fence was by my door.
He fears it could be worse this time around. El Messiah points out one door as the only way inside for customers, staff, and deliveries.
This is actually our only access to the restaurant. Since the city sold the back lot to someone, now we cannot bring the stuff from the back door.
Wave News also showed the manager of Spinelli's Pizzeria on 4th and Chestnut the city's published plans. Holly Spears says she's concerned the restaurant's profit cost won't be worth the aesthetic improvements.
I mean, who wants to come to a restaurant when there's a place for a dog to right outside your door? You know what I'm saying?
Now, we did reach out to the Louisville Downtown Partnership as well as Mayor Craig Greenberg's office, and so far we have not heard back. It's the first full day on the job for Jefferson County's new interim county clerk. State Senator David Yates was appointed to the position by Mayor Greenberg following the death of longtime county clerk Bobby Holzclaw in September. Yates was already a Democratic candidate running for Jefferson County clerk. He'll now serve out the remainder of Holzclaw's term, which runs through November 2026. The election for county clerk for 2026 will happen with a primary in May and general election in November. Yates says he's excited to take on this new role.
I'm committed to maintaining integrity of our elections, which protects our democracy. With unwavering dedication, I will uphold the principles of fairness and security, ensuring that every vote is counted accurately and every citizen's voice is heard in the democratic process. My approach is rooted in transparency and communication, fostering trust and confidence in our electoral system.
Yates resigned from his seat in the state legislature as he steps into his new role as Jefferson County clerk. Governor Andy Beshear is calling on a Kentucky sheriff to resign after police say he was driving drunk and he was arrested for a third time. Robertson County Sheriff Terry Gray was arrested in Mason County Tuesday night. The arrest citation states Gray blew a .226, which is almost 3 times the legal limit. Police say they discovered a bottle of Fireball whiskey in his truck, and it's not the first time he's faced a DUI charge. He was arrested once for DUI in December of 2023, then again in September of 24. The Mason County Sheriff says this type of repeated behavior is unacceptable.
I think I speak on behalf of law enforcement across this state. We police our own, and his behaviors, it's unacceptable. At the end of the day, he needs to resign because he's tarnished the badge.
Governor Andy Beshear says if Gray does not resign, he'll take steps to remove him from office. Well, you've probably already grabbed your candy for the Halloween trick-or-treaters, but bakers are growing worried about the looming price hikes before the holidays hit. November and December, that's prime baking season for them. It's when home bakers are busy in the kitchen, making sweets for customers, and of course the loved ones for Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. However, cocoa products could see prices nearly double sometime this fall, due in part to the adverse weather and tariffs. Some experts are anticipating the change will hit bakers especially hard.
Just the core baking chips of Nestle and Hershey baking chips, we're looking at a good, 30 to 40% increase over where it was even just a year ago. So the Hunt snack packs that we were talking about, because some of it has chocolate in it, there's a cost increase coming on that as well.
Bakeries will likely see some price hikes at the counter. Some business owners could stick with their suppliers and recipes to keep up with their quality. And as a result, they're anticipating passing on the increased cost to customers, depending on the items.
Like, for instance, a truffle is an all chocolate confection. So I'm probably going to have to increase the price of that just because of the percentage of cocoa products that goes into it. Whereas something like a caramel or a marshmallow has a sugar-based center, and I can kind of hold steady on the cost of that. I only have one type of chocolate that I buy. So I'm backed into a corner as far as whether they do a price increase. It's just something that I have to take.
She says about a third of her shop's yearly business comes in the last 6 weeks of the year. She's already stockpiled some chocolate supply at the price she can afford ahead of the holiday baking season. Well, speaking of tariffs and the concerns of the industries, bourbon drinkers around the world are suddenly buying a lot less bourbon. A report from the Spirits Council of the U.S. reveals a steep second quarter drop in exports for all American spirits, and the group claims tariffs imposed by President Trump could be to blame. Wave News reporter David Mattingly finds the impact is already hitting home.
In a small warehouse on Baxter, Nulu Whiskey's Bob Nash has bourbon barrels stacked to the ceiling, and he wants to buy more.
We're looking for a little bit more space, to be honest with you.
Just so you can make room for those other barrels.
Correct. That is correct.
As a small craft distiller, Nash buys barrels from other distilleries and puts his own spin on a finished product. So it's good for him when a downturn in exports has the big distilleries swimming in bourbon. He can find better bourbon cheaper. And as long as there's a problem selling bourbon abroad, there's going to be more bourbon barrels here for you to buy.
Correct. Very much so.
A mid-year report on exports from Discus, the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, reveals how U.S. distilled spirits exports declined sharply in a second quarter 2025 amid trade tensions. According to the report, exports to Canada were down 85%, the UK down 29%, Japan down 23%, and the European Union, a massive market for American spirits, down 12%. It presents unique problems for bourbon distillers who may plan 10 years in advance how much bourbon to make for future customers.
The science of projecting how much great bourbon to put in a barrel and in age is complex, and certainly this is having a direct impact on businesses throughout Kentucky.
In a statement released Wednesday, Kentucky Distillers Association President Eric Gregory calls for a return to tariff-free trade and warns that state taxes on its record number of aging barrels puts the industry at a disadvantage. The statement included a quote, "Just as you can't make bourbon overnight, we won't fix the problems we're facing overnight," Gregory said. We must continue to work with policymakers to find solutions and ensure bourbon's long-term future.
Now, as far as any political backlash, both of Kentucky's Republican senators have previously expressed concerns about the tariffs. The only congressman, though, reacting to the latest report is Kentucky's only Democrat in Congress. That's Morgan McGarvey. And he called the Trump tariffs chaotic and said they are killing the state's bourbon industry. We'll be right back hearing from leadership within LMPD in just about 2 minutes. Well, LMPD says it remains committed to being transparent with the Louisville community. Wave News anchor Dawn G sat down with Deputy Chief Emily McKinley yesterday for a discussion on their work and some recent developments. Here's that full interview.
LMPD remains committed to being transparent with Louisville community. Today, we are joined by Deputy Chief Emily McKinley for a discussion on their work and some of the recent developments of things that are going on. We appreciate you coming in so much, Deputy Chief McKinley. Okay, so I know that you probably have some things going on. We wanted to start off, and I'm going to say this because it is what it is, but we were just trying to get some of the shootings straight, and that is a bad thing to say. We had shooting over the weekend, taking the lives of some young people, 2 girls. And we haven't heard much about it. I was trying to figure out the age of those girls. Do we know the age of those girls over the weekend that died?
They're older teens, adult teens, so 18, 19 years old. Any loss of life is tragic in our community, no matter what the age is or gender. So I know their families are hurting from that. And so, our detectives work tirelessly each day to solve these crimes, to bring closure to families, to provide answers to our community. And that's exactly what they're doing in this case and in all the cases that they work.
And I said this, and it may not be true. I don't know if, and it just could be my age too. It used to not involve a lot of girls. You're seeing girls now being involved in these shootings.
Yeah, and there are more females that are becoming involved in violent crime, and that is unfortunate. It is frustrating for people in our community to hear, whether it's juveniles or females. You don't necessarily put those together when it comes to violent crime. And so those are things that we're working to combat in our community, to provide resources for females, to provide resources for juveniles, to learn how to resolve conflict and solve problems together and collaboratively without resolving to violence.
Yeah, because our teens don't know how to resolve an issue. And it seems like they're turning to fighting and guns. Our crime, luckily, shooting, homicide, carjacking, going down. The numbers are decreasing. But in teens, that number's taken a lot longer. The crime numbers are taking longer to come down.
Right. We're seeing both decrease. And the Safe Louisville plan that Mayor Greenberg has rolled out this year, as well with LMPD's crime plan, has collectively reduced homicide, shootings, carjackings, robberies, just like you said, overall. And juvenile crime has gone down as well. It hasn't necessarily gone down as fast as crime overall, and we're working to fix that. And I think one thing that people, adults, parents, the community, teachers can do is we need to get to kids who are younger than teenagers. So who's in 4th grade, 3rd grade, 5th grade, teaching the kids how to resolve conflict, how to solve problems, how to talk to each other, how to communicate, and know that when people are saying things about you, whether it's online, because a lot of things happen on social media, and that sparks a lot of the violence. It's not a big deal. Don't worry about it. Let things roll off your back, and learning how to get past problems like that.
All right, I'm going to try to get these next 2 questions in. We're just wondering what is happening with Rhodesia Williams after the shooting there on the bus stop. Any information? And we also want to know about the Independent Monitor. Let's start with Rhodesia.
Yeah, so Rhodesia was the mom who unfortunately was shot and killed when she was walking her daughter to the bus stop. And again, that is an open, ongoing investigation. Our detectives are working very hard to bring closure to that family. We need people to speak up. We've received a lot of anonymous tips. We know there's information out there. We need people to come forward and talk to us and to keep coming forward. And that's happening. We need more. And so we hope to have some closure for that family soon.
All right. Independent Monitor?
Sure. Looking forward to working with the Independent Monitor. We hope that they recognize a lot of the progress that we made over the past several years.
All right. Recruits.
Yeah. We have a recruit class starting in October 27th. We're going to have over 40 recruits in this class. That's the largest class that we've had since February of 2020, I think. And so anyway, we're starting another class in February that we have a lot of recruits and applicants pending for that class. If anybody's interested, lmpdjobs.com. It's a fantastic career. You can make over $80,000 in your first couple years as a police officer. So come serve your community, enjoy this career. Come join us, lmpdjobs.com.
Okay. you're kind enough to come in here and be transparent with us. Did I miss anything that you feel like you need to tell the community today before you go?
No, we just appreciate the support that we're feeling from the community. We encourage any feedback, any tips, any information that the community might have.
All right. Again, Deputy Chief Emily McKinley, thank you again for coming in and sharing everything with us. And again, if you want to be an officer, what's the email again?
It's lmpdjobs.com.
lmpdjobs.com. There you go, and serve your community.
Great conversation she had right there. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with some sports headlines, including NCAA athletes allowed to bet on professional games, plus those concerns and the excitement with professional football coming to Louisville. All of that coming up in 2 minutes. Well, college student athletes could soon be able to get in on that sports betting craze, but it only applies to professional sports. The proposal was adopted by the NCAA committee yesterday. The rule change must be approved by all 3 NCAA divisions, though. And if it gets approved, the new rule change will go into effect on November 1st. NCAA's current policy prohibits betting on college sports. That still remains in place. The committee just said the rule change is not an endorsement of sports betting, but again, this would allow them to bet on professional sports. That's why I wasn't allowed to join a fantasy football league back in college too. I was always so disappointed about that. As for the U of L men's basketball team, they've announced theme nights for all 19 of their home games this upcoming season. The promotional calendar will have multiple celebratory team reunions. Always so good to see some of those alums come back and be reunited there. They also have the mainstay, the Stripe Out. That always looks so cool when you pack the Yum Center. And they have the fan favorites like the Teddy Bear Toss and Kids Day. As for tickets, there are a lot of options there for fans. And if you can't make it to every home game, for just $300, you can build a custom 8-game plan of your choice. Single game tickets are also on sale. And if you're buying for multiple people, groups of 10 or more may receive discounted tickets to any game this season. Already looking forward to basketball season, and we know the Cards are going to be solid this year. Pro football is coming to Louisville as the Kings will call Lynn Family Stadium their home. It's part of a strategy by the UFL to move their teams into smaller, more intimate stadiums. Louisville was one of 3 cities picked to join the league out of a total of 31. Part of the decision was made based on TV ratings and data that shows Louisville loves watching sports. Officials also say the venue is the perfect size as the league aims to downsize to more intimate venues. City leaders say this is a chance to bring in more money to the Metro, and the UFL's owners have some great things to say about the city. You might recognize one of the owners, Mike Rapoli. He's a businessman and a horse owner, big time presence here at Churchill Downs come May, and he knows the city pretty well. So he says it's a chance for the league to find success.
well, why is this going to work? I think this is going to work because the timing is right. We have a great team. We're not only looking at the right markets, we're also looking at the right venue.
The league starts up in late March, so the Kings are on the clock to get players and staff all squared away. It'll be interesting to see how that works out there. But many sports fans have taken to social media really concerned about the field when the Kings come to town. The concerns center around the wear and tear that would come to the field. All that activity can create some distress. They'll make it hard for players. And then, of course, there's a concern for injury on that grass. We talked to the vice president of marketing for Lou City and Racing Louisville on their talks about flipping the field for games.
We'll obviously try to play a football game on a non-home weekend for soccer, but definitely if we were to have both events here on the same weekend, we will be playing football after soccer. I don't think we would want to have a football game, have the field get chewed up a little bit, and then have to go play a soccer game where it really does matter how the ball rolls on the pitch. You know, you don't have big gashes on the field.
The stadium officials say they have been in talks with a DC club that has multiple teams using their field, looking for advice on how to maintain it for all three teams. Yeah, big undertaking for the guys there who take care of the field at Lynn Family Stadium, but they already do a great job, so I'm sure they'll be able to handle any challenge thrown at them. That's all the time we have here for Wave Sunrise Extra. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope you have a great Thursday, and tomorrow is Friday, so it's basically already the weekend. Enjoy it.